everyone, this video will cover Module 7. Module 7 is the first revision module in the class. We'll do this several times throughout the semester, but the basic goal is to get some feedback on your work that's not just instructor comments. So as I go through and grade your work, you'll see comments that I leave in the margins and everything and on the rubric. Now you're going to look back through what you've written for short stories, and you're going to do a self-edit and a peer edit. The main thing to remember about doing these editing assignments is that there's an internal due date. So you have to have your work submitted by a certain day, otherwise you won't get the opportunity to trade with a peer. So let me show you what's going on here. So you can do either one first, but you do want to remember that the short story peer edit has a due date that's internal. So in this case, making sure that by the Tuesday of this week, you have that file submitted to this assignment so that it can be traded. If you miss this date, your file will not be traded. You will not get any assigned peer reviews, okay? So it's sort of those like a potluck. You can't eat anything unless you bring something to the potluck kind of thing. You have to have your short story submitted here, otherwise you won't get anything assigned to you. So the goal here is, since you've already written 3 short stories, unless you're behind a little bit in the class, you've already written these 3 stories, which means that you can pick whichever one you like. This is going to be in your portfolio at the end of the semester. So I would pick the one that you like the most, like you feel the best about having written. You're going to be submitting that. Or sometimes students will pick the one that they struggled with the most because they want that feedback. They want to really be able to get that challenge of making it a better story. So it doesn't matter. You're going to pick one and you'll go up here to your submission attempt and you'll submit that same exact file. You don't have to make any changes. You're submitting the same exact file of that story to this assignment. Once Tuesday, March 3rd at 11:59 p.m. happens, Canvas will automatically trade whatever files have been submitted. So that's an automatic thing. This means that I don't have to be involved, but it also means that if somebody is just not going to do it, then you won't get somebody's name who isn't participating. So that way, anybody who's submitted, anyone who's participating will get their peers' work. Once that happens, when you come back to this assignment, you'll see under assigned peer reviews, you'll see someone's name. You should have 2 people's names. So in order to do the peer edit, you'll click on their name, and then a screen will pull up that looks like this. Here is their file, and then what you want right here is view feedback. It is not obvious what you should be doing. This is something that I wish Canvas would change, but I'm not in charge. So you click on view feedback, and then you expand it. So this is the screen that I see as an instructor when I go in to grade your work. So I've submitted just a random file of mine. Basically, what you can do now is use all of these editing tools to provide feedback. So if I go in here, I can click on, the little bubble thing and then leave a comment. The main thing you want to remember about leaving feedback is this is the best, I think. I use these a lot, or the highlighting, it really works. You can do other things like add text. The problem is it doesn't necessarily tell me who is leaving the feedback. And so everybody's going to get 2 peer stories to look at, which means that somebody else's name might start showing up on the side because somebody else also has that story. So just keep in mind, if they're commenting on something, then you need to find something new to comment on. And then using something like the text is not going to tell me who wrote what. So the best kind of comments are the ones that you put in the bubbles. You can strike things through. You can also draw if there's a section that you want to point out. You can make some comments that way, which is kind of cool. And the main reason that we're doing it through Canvas is because we do have all those editing tools. You can see what other people comment on. I can see what everybody comments on. And then when you go into your own file, so you hit that submission details and then that same view feedback, you get to see what everybody's comments look like. And they show up as soon as you click out of that box. They're automatically on there. And so they can see that. And you may get actually notifications about sometimes students will have their smartwatch connected to their notifications and then they get buzzing hands the whole time. So anyway, so that's what you're doing for the comments. Then what you want to do is once you're done leaving some feedback, at least 10 comments, you're going to go over here and it's going to say show rubric. And you will have the option, I can't show you quite what it looks like. You'll have the option to click on needs improvement or no issues for each of the criteria. So you're looking at the introduction, the ending, organization, content, and then the writing overall. If it needs improvement, you'll have the option to leave a comment. And then at the bottom will be a save button or submit button. And then once you click on that, you cannot edit the rubric. I don't know why, you just can't edit it. So make sure that you're done with it by the time you click on submit. Otherwise, you'll have to leave more feedback. If you have anything else that you want to say, like you didn't get it all in there, that's fine. You can always leave a comment here. Leaving a comment here just leaves the comment though. It's not anything connected to something specific or on the rubric. So just keep that in mind. So you'll be doing that with 2 peer essays. So when you're in that peer edit, you'll get those 2 people's names and then you'll go in and it will look like this page with that view feedback. That's where you go in and see those comments or you can make those comments. So it's a little bit challenging because we have that internal due date and then you have all these tools that you're using, but it's really effective to look through somebody's work and be able to make those specific comments and get that feedback from your peers. The comments can be any type of comment you want, suggestions for editing, suggestions for revision, sentences that don't really make much sense, that kind of thing. But you can also add like encouraging things, comments, positive critique, that kind of thing. Those all count as things that you can add. So if you have questions as you're completing this assignment, or if you miss that due date, make sure you send me an email right away and I will get that, hopefully get somebody's assignment to you because I can manually add them if I need to. But make sure that you are kind of keeping on track of this, and then we'll do it again later in the semester. So this is kind of the first run through of how to do a revision. So if you have questions, send me an email. Otherwise, have a great week.